back to Retail Therapy. My name's Will. In the studio with me today, Barrett Dudley. Barrett, how we doing?
We're doing great. You know, feeling good, feeling much better than I did last week. Things are just looking up, you know?
Woke up this morning. Temperature was 65 degrees outside.
My morning dog walks have been lovely.
I looked in my closet and I just looked at my sweaters.
Yeah.
Gave them a little love pat and said, I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, real soon, real soon.
I have 3 sweaters that I've purchased between midsummer and now. And I'm just excited to bust them out.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to layer up. And like I've put them in the prime category or prime spot in my closet so that they have full visibility so I don't forget about anything. You ever buy something in the middle of summer for fall and then you put it away and then you just forget about it?
I do the first half of that. I generally don't forget about it.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah. They those things constantly just live in the back of my head. Just their little shelf in the back of my brain. They're sitting there as well as a shelf or a bin in the closet.
I think this weekend's the weekend that I'm going to do the full shoe switch.
Okay. All right.
I think I'm going to bust out my more fall sneakers, put away the summer ones, and maybe...
It's time.
I would bust out the boots already, but I think it's going to have to wait till like November for that.
Yeah. I've always said this. I just noticed our skeleton friend over here. Can the YouTubers see that? Can they see Skelly Gang, or is that just...
I can pan over.
No,
for
you don't have to pan
want.
over. You don't
I'll
have to
do
pan
that.
over. Masquerade feels very retail therapy coded though.
Mm-hmm.
Shouts to Emily in Paris.
Mm-hmm. Oh man! Oh, see, something I forgot about. I've watched the first episode of the second drop, and I haven't watched any others.
Wow,
I gotta hop in,
dude.
I miss it.
You don't even know about Marcello. Oh, I'm glad I didn't put the article.
Marcello.
The whole second half. The guy that she dates, Marcello. You know Marcello. You've seen Marcello.
I'm sure. Yeah. This is a show where I don't know any names besides Emily.
He's a stand-in for the brand that his family owns in this like idealistic little town in the Italian countryside. It's a stand-in for Brunello Cucinelli.
Okay.
Like it's based on Brunello Cucinelli.
Okay.
It's very fabulous.
What's his last? Oh, what's Marcello's last name? I want it to be absurdly Italian.
It is, but therefore I don't remember it and can't say it out loud.
Okay.
Where were we?
Talking
Shoes.
boots.
Yes, the swap. Yeah, so like ACL is usually my like that's like the demarcation line for me. So like after ACL weekend 2, which is is ending by the time you're listening to this, that's like my usual switch. But it is a hotter than usual October. Excuse me. There's a Freudian slip for you. We're like 10 degrees above normal averages. It's
very cool.
Very, very dry. Very, very warm still. And so, it's time to make the switch, but also it's like 95 every day still. The 65 in the morning has been nice. That's a nice change of pace. I've been practicing for sweater weather. I've been doing a little bit of long sleeve t-shirt work.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm reacclimating my arms to being covered.
It's going to be a big day when I get to switch out my sneakers that I got from Huckberry from the Miracle Lab and switch them out for the D-May.
For the D-May boots.
Yeah, I'm just it's just going to be a Huckberry time. I'm very excited about this. We've got a decently loaded rundown. I'm happy with what we have in front of us today, Barrett. But it's not as articles of interesty as our last episode was, which was significantly driven by like several different, random topics.
Right.
Before we get into today's episode, I want to implore everybody to go subscribe on Substack, retailpod.substack.com. We've been doing sneaky numbers over on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Sunday Scaries podcast. We got all the retail therapy episodes up there. If you are listening, just know that Barrett's putting stuff on the screen almost at all times during this episode, and you can see that on YouTube.
Wow.
If you're watching on Spotify and you're watching the video on Spotify, just know that this is probably going to end at some point because we're going to get away from Spotify as we've had some issues with them because our noble producer, Randy, has been having trouble uploading episodes on time because their system is just always down. Do you have anything to say about that, Randy?
Yeah, every single time I log in to upload, there's just, I get an error message.
To the tube?
The tube? No, to the Spotify platform that we host Sunday Scaries on. It's getting pretty annoying, and I have to try to do it like 5 times before it finally works.
I think we might go full Substack and just have to do the full transfer over there, Barrett.
Wow.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know how that works.
It works, allegedly.
So Substack can host your podcast
Yeah.
on Spotify and Apple Pods and all that?
It can.
Wow.
It
Wow.
can.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Retail.pod.substack.com and youtube.com/Sunday Scaries
Very
podcast.
interesting.
As always, hit up retail.pod on Instagram. Also, got some new scented candles in the pipeline. So if you want to go get your scented candles on, I will say New York in the Fall, the most popular scented candle from Sunday Scaries right now, has sold out. But it will be back in stock, I think within the next week or so.
Okay.
And then I did a little teaser on the Sunday Scaries story the other day of the new Everything Shower Candle, which I have to say is a breath of fresh air. But today's show is sponsored by our friends over at BetterHelp. Halloween lets us have fun with things that scare us, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But what about those fears that don't involve zombies and ghosts? Therapy is a great tool for facing your fears and finding ways to overcome them, because sometimes the scariest thing is not facing our fears in the first place and holding ourselves back. I've enjoyed myself some therapy over the years. I enjoy therapy so much, Barrett, that I actually have an appointment this afternoon. I just wanted to do a little touch-up work. I just wanted to talk out some things going on in my life. And, you know, a little Friday afternoon availability, into that weekend, just going in with a fresh mind.
Yeah.
That sounds great to me. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. You can do it all the time. You can do it touch and go. It's a great way to set boundaries, to just empower that version of yourself that you want to come out. And the great thing about BetterHelp, it's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional costs. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/scaries today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/scaries. It's vibe shift season. I mean, we were just talking about switching out the closets.
Yeah. That's what they're saying.
So we've been on high alert with GQ lately. We've been
We have
critics. And I have to say, when I saw that there was a vibe shift column that was coming out, I got a little too excited because I was imagining something more insufferable than what was actually there.
Did you also, before we jump into this one, did you also see Noah Johnson's article from this week?
I did not.
Well, Noah Johnson, who you continue to name drop because of his inflammatory articles such as Vans are back and you should wear jeans in the fall and Gorpcore is
I'm
dead
sorry,
and
Noah.
short coats are dead.
I'm sorry, Noah.
This week's the title of his article was basically like taking fashion advice is dead too. So he on this run of hot fire, he basically like cut his legs out from underneath him with his latest article.
Don't listen
so
to me.
Yeah.
You know what?
I don't know I think he's having like an existential crisis over there.
Maybe that's the retail therapy effect. You know, I don't think Noah listens to us. I wouldn't listen to us if we had been this critical of me.
Yeah.
I'd probably dip out of the pod.
Many people are very critical of us. Have you not read our reviews on like Apple Podcasts? Like that there's constantly salt being thrown.
Well, if you're listening right now, while you're listening, go to Apple Podcasts and go to Retail Therapy and leave us a nice review. I usually screenshot the mean reviews. It's because it always creates an influx of people just making fun of that negative review, and it's always really fun to watch how that goes.
So that was fun. The final one from Noah. I can't find it. They're really churning them out over there.
No, I found it. All you have to do is just go to his author page.
What is the title?
It is Style Advice Doesn't Matter Anymore.
There you go. Yeah.
Asking others how to look better will only get you so far. The only way to build real personal style is to dress yourself and make mistakes. Yeah. I mean, actually, Clayton over at Strega had a reel the other day about copying other people's style and how it just kind of like is, you know, if you copy too much, it's fraudulent. And I like to, I mean, you and I have talked about it before. I like getting a lot of style inspiration from like women's stuff. I've got a couple Instagram accounts that like I probably get more from. They're like just small Instagram accounts that sell things on Etsy and things like that. And I think I get more from that than I get from anything else at this point. But like, I don't know. If you see someone completely like just dressing exactly like someone they saw online, it's like, all right, well, you probably look good.
Maybe.
But, you know, add some personal flair in there. Get some bag charms. Dude, the boys over at Canoe Club, they have some keychains right now, quote unquote.
The Beams keychains.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to fill Sally's stocking with it. This.
With like a little sushi number.
Yeah, the nigiri salmon.
The nigiri salmon.
That thing, it looks so good that if I saw that on someone's purse, I'd be like, did they just have sushi for lunch and it just fell on their purse?
Okay, but so this article, this vibe shifting article, is from Samuel Hine, who I think we both generally like. Although he did write the merch is dead column as well in this
That being said,
run.
I think he had valid points in that.
Yeah. The headline here is men's fashion on the brink of another vibe shift. I'm going to be honest with you as we're throwing out critiques. This article didn't really hit for me.
No, it didn't hit for me either. I was hoping for like actual style shifts and not just men. I read men's fashion as like the way that we dress. This was more like how we're going to dress in 2 years because of changes that are happening at fashion houses.
Correct. And it just felt a little bit shallow to me. It felt a little bit like reaching for straws here because of exactly what you just said. It's kind of like there are some vacancies at big time fashion houses. There might be more. I think the biggest thing that people are most concerned about and worrying about in very small niche corners of the internet is whether Jonathan Anderson will leave Loewe.
Okay.
That's the big shoe that could potentially drop.
For me, as someone who doesn't pay attention to a lot of fashion houses and luxury brands, that one would be one that I'm like, oh, that's going to suck.
Yeah,
because it's just been the best.
Yeah, and they are rating, like they are currently like they're by various metrics and kind of like trend consultants, they are considered the hottest brand. Mm-hmm. So letting him go and him leaving would be really.
But how do you feel about their On collaboration?
I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm down.
I just didn't know if that was going to tank their stock at all for you.
No.
I think Ons have actually done a decent job of shaking the ick that Ons had for a little bit by just coming out with better looking sneakers that are very functional.
I love the Cloud Monster from On. The Cloud Monster 2 is absolute gas. They've got some pretty cool training and gym shoes now. There are still they're like the kind of the OG, like the really low heeled, like original On runners. I think are very ugly, and I don't like those.
I had a pair of those, and I looked down at myself one day and thought to myself, "These are terrible. I need to get rid of these like now."
But they, the Federer collab, some of their tennis stuff is cool. Like, no, I'm a fan of On for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Can I read an excerpt?
Yes, please do.
I'll set the table.
Set the table.
A few key creative moves, I would argue, changed the course of fashion history. First, Heidi Slimane joined Celine. Next, Kim Jones moved to Louis Vuitton men's to Dior men. And finally, a young creative director by the name of Virgil Abloh filled the vacancy at Louis Vuitton. All three designers have had proven track records as innovators and visionary creatives. All three received LVMH promotions within a couple months of each other. You're probably familiar with what happened next. Jones engineered moments of unprecedented hype through savvy art-adjacent collaborations. Before his sudden death of rare cancer in 2021, Abloh reconceptualized luxury around community. Slimane coined main character dressing long before it became a TikTok trend. As a result, new faces flocked to the front rows. Fashion became primo social media fodder. Countless new stores and brands rode the wave. And now you're here reading GQ and Own a Purse, Jacob Elordi style. Jacob Elordi style. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's him kind of explaining the last time that this massive vibe shift due to new appointments at fashion houses occurred.
Yes.
And I think that and that all tracks. That definitely like that brought in the whole like streetwear is high fashion is streetwear era. Mm-hmm. It's the next part. It's basically it's the vacancies and the kind of like projecting that there could be another one that just I guess like sure.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe.
yeah, people switch careers.
Right.
If I've learned anything about just having this role, people don't stick around for like decades.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone's switching. Well, the next one is more about the vibe shift that he's forecasting.
Sure.
He said brands began balancing exclusivity with community. Elitism was no longer cool. If that inflection point was about access, this one will hinge, I think, on taste. Demna, who for the record just re-signed his contract with Balenciaga, is spot on. The fashion boom has created too much stuff at the expense of originality. In the past couple of years, there's been a dull flatness creeping in on menswear. A dearth? What? Dearth? I don't use dearth often.
Yeah.
A dearth of surprise and subversion as brands repeat now tiresome formulas, not to mention an over-reliance on retrograde marketing that has turned off increasingly sophisticated consumers. Another collaboration, an expensive, unnecessary runway show, more long, swooshy trousers? Why is he coming at long, swooshy trousers?
I guess everybody's doing long, swooshy trousers,
Okay, here's a question. Here's the media former editor in me. Did they just want to use the word vibe shift in a headline to get clicks?
Well, maybe, but
Because vibe shifts do, from what I've experienced in life, they do numbers every once in a while.
I need to get the vibe shifts chimes.
Yeah, the vibe shift chimes are kind of needed at this point, Randy.
yeah. I don't have much to comment on because I needed more here. I wanted a deeper dive on what he means by this.
This was an article.
Why does he think fashion is menswear is flat right now? Why does he think it's dull? What is an example of originality? And I don't really want the example of Balenciaga or Vetements from Demna because all that shit is wacky as fuck. Like it's like, yes, it has a POV, but it's not. It is decidedly not wearable. It is almost not something that even can trickle down to the mainstream. So I respect that, like, yes, a very, very select few people can afford like a $1,200 t-shirt that like covers your hands and goes down to your knees, and then like shoes that are 8 times the size of a regular shoe. But that is
impractical.
That's so impractical and just such a specialized thing coming from Demna's weird brain at Balenciaga. I don't know. Tell me more. Give me a guess. Tell me why things are dull right now and what you could see going forward. Did you see? There's a New York Times article about a $910 fleece from a brand that I'm going to mispronounce called, I believe, Ryer.
No.
Rier. It's an interesting article to contrast with the Gorpcore is Dead one from Noah Johnson, because it is all about how one of the hottest items on Essence, on High Snobiety or HBX or wherever else, is this like very, very pared down $1,000 fleece half zip jacket. Now it's made out of wool. It's not poly, but it's basically like it's an iteration on like a Gorpcore trend.
Oh yeah,
basically like refracted through the lens of quiet luxury.
This is so perfectly 90s looking. Like, I mean, it's got the elastic on around. Like, I mean, I have a fleece that looks exactly like this that I somehow acquired through my friend's mom's closet while we were having a party. We all just dressed up, and then suddenly I had this fleece on that's Pebble Beach branded. If you took off all the Pebble Beach branding on it, it looks exactly like this, but it is fleece. But like the way that it fits is just the giant shoulders that come down to like the middle of your bicep. Just they're so wide, and then the really chunky cinched wrist is like so pleasing to me for some reason.
Yeah,
but there's too much. The thing that I own is so 90s that I can't even wear it because it just looks like old. Whereas I actually think this is cool, and like if I could see people just using this silhouette moving forward based on this alone.
Yeah. It's described as like balloony and kind of has this like cocoon shape that I think makes a lot of sense right now. But I don't know. I just maybe to make our own projection here. I think that the first half of this article talking about guys like Kim Jones and Virgil Abloh that did what they did at Louis Vuitton and Dior and kind of brought streetwear to the forefront. And how that's kind of like has kind of faded out, and what are we projecting next? I think what it's going to tie into is a continuation of something that we've talked about, I think, for the last 6 or 8 months, which is basically this idea of like dressing nice, right? That's and I'll segue that into the new appointment at Celine, which is an American named Michael Ryder who's been at Ralph Lauren, and so I think that Eddie Slimane did what he does at Celine. Like he made very trendy, very, if you know items, very, he referenced music, he referenced rock stars, all that type of stuff. He did do like the main character style of dressing. There was his famous show that was like called like The Dancing Kid, which was all a reference to TikTok and to the youth on social media. But the appointment of Michael Ryder definitely signals to me that they want something more elevated, less brand heavy, less playful, less basically more like elegant, more sophisticated. And that all ties, for me, that all like basically kind of signals that where we're going is moving forward into more of this, like, we want to look nicer, we want to dress nice, we want to wear loafers, we want to put on shoe boots, we're we're less concerned with sneakers. We're more concerned with polos and collared shirts. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's maybe that's pretty basic to say, but to at least extrapolate where this might be headed. That's kind of my interpretation.
I hope it goes that direction in a way, and I hope that like because there is the need, or there could be the need to have that sophistication, I think it allows people to potentially buy things that are much more like staple items that they can own forever versus just the new trend that's coming out.
Right.
And I think that if
yep.
it does go that direction, then buying something that you can wear for seasons for the next decade, like that is something that very much interests me, because the way that I've been shopping lately for things that aren't t-shirts essentially is like, how long can I have this for? Will this go out of style? Is this too stylish for a dad to be wearing? One, and is this too stylish for me to wear right now because I'll just hate it next year? And I've got a few things from like Aimé Leon Dore that are so, not what I would normally buy and I would only wear on vacation, to where I'm like, I don't want to buy something that I'll only wear on vacation at this point. Like, I know it's fun to like flex on vacation or dress a little differently on vacation, have some fun with your style. But now it's like, now I need to just buy things that I know that I'm not going to get tired of and that will be in the closet and easy to rip out like next fall and the fall after.
I mean, I think it was a year ago that we brought up the idea of recession core. And since then, like, there hasn't been like a full-fledged recession, but I've read some stuff about how what typically happens during a recession is that people look for other ways to like signal status.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to this like very classic, very traditional, I think I might even be thinking about the Articles of Interest podcast on Americana, and talks about Ralph Lauren a lot. All the Japanese Americana Ivy style, like the reason that people fall back into that is because it's so classic, and because it has said what it says for 75 years now,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a very like kind of like you're saying, like we don't have money to be wasting on trends and flash in the pan things, and so we want something that's like rock solid about like what it signals and what it says.
Mm-hmm.
And so in those years and eras, we tend to fall back on like pleated trousers and polos and button-ups and Oxfords and navy blazers and penny loafers and all that type of stuff. So
I want a new barn jacket or a new just coat to wear out in Texas during the wintertime. So not like a winter coat, not like a down coat. And like with the whole plaid thing, like J. Crew has a really nice looking waxed plaid, Barber
mm-hmm,
jacket. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know what? I would love to have that for just this season and then get rid of it, because I don't think next year I'm going to be psyched that I spent this much money on a plaid one, when I would just rather have like a classic color that will, that people have been wearing for decades upon decades upon decades. And I think that's the route I'm going to end up going. It's a little boring, but I at least know that I'm not going to regret doing it later in life, or like later in the game. And that's why I always get nervous buying statement pieces like a jacket that are the color of the moment, like red and things like that. I think that they're cool, but I worry so much and I overthink about it so much that I don't want to buy a red barn jacket and then next year be like, why did I buy this red barn jacket?
Quick segue, because maybe what you have in your mind right now is your red Western kind of like overshirt from ALD.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is a drum that we also keep beating, this month, last month. Western is not going away.
Yeah.
You may be taking
I'm really excited about this shirt still existing.
You may be taking a trip to ACL this weekend. I'm not sure where you landed on that. But what I want you to keep an eye out for is the number one trend that I saw. And this was specifically for women, because guys just dress like guys out at a festival. Women are the ones that generally put that shit on.
Yeah, I dressed like a guy on Sunday last week.
The number of... Oh, did you go last week?
I went late Sunday and I saw Chapel Roan, and then I went and saw Sturgill Simpson after.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of a last minute decision.
Got it. Denim tops. Denim tops on women. Denim shirts, denim vests, as tops, denim bustiers, denim shirt dresses, it's denim everything. Mm-hmm. But like it's denim as a top in some way that's like not like a chambray shirt. So corset tops. Although that was so popular out there. I couldn't keep count of how many I saw.
So I went with a buddy of mine and his wife was absolutely dressing. She put that shit on. She wore a corduroy Western dress and some cowboy boots. And
the boots, man. I mean, like
the boots.
Yeah.
And the second we walked in, she immediately just got compliments from people. And I was like, yep, yeah, the Western is not going anywhere. And I know it plays differently in Texas at ACL. Like, there's Western, like they're probably going to see an uptick in that just from the environment alone. But like, it was just hilarious how on the drive there, we were like, are you gonna regret wearing this corduroy and these cowboy boots? Like, are you gonna be comfortable? It's gonna be hot out there. And then like the second she walked in and got a compliment, we're like, man, no one's gonna compliment us.
Yeah, beauty is pain.
Yep. What was your general vibe for ACL?
I think I got a little boomerish about it. I was definitely like vaguely annoyed for the first time ever, I would say. I think I have a little bit of license to do so, because I do think there were some things that were generally different this year, especially like weekend one. I think they sold more tickets than ever. Typically when I walk in on a Friday at ACL, it feels light.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to walk right up to a bar, get a beer immediately, start enjoying yourself. Maybe by the evening time, it gets a little bit more crowded. And then Saturday is the real shit show where lines are everywhere. I walked in Friday and it felt like the most crowded day I'd ever been at ACL.
Really?
40, 50 people deep at the bar lines, like absolutely, like just wildly packed. There were insane crowd crushes and almost zero mobility for both Dua Lipa and Chappell Roan.
I didn't experience the Chappell Roan crowd rush. Like
you were in VIP, so.
Oh, no, I wasn't. We went in and we had some friends that were kind of in the middle of everything. And so we just walked right in and said hi to them. People made room for us and it was very easy. There were a lot of people, after it was over trying to rush over to, I think, Dom Dalla and stuff. So we kind of got caught up in that.
So how close were you for Chappell?
Not that close. I could see her if I was on my tiptoes.
So like near the sound booth?
No, not even close to the sound booth.
Okay.
So I was pretty far back.
Okay.
But the crowd that we were in,
kind of middle,
probably.
Yeah.
Like when I looked at all the videos that came out of her crowd there and how big it was, I was shocked that it was that big, because it felt not sparse, but it felt comfortable when we were standing there. And we were surrounded by a bunch of people who had been waiting all day for her.
Did you get to the stage a little bit before her show started?
Yeah, like 30 minutes.
Okay, that's why you're okay.
Yeah, we had about 30 minutes. And so I will say her crowd was one of the nicest crowds I'd ever been in. Like everybody was just singing along, clapping their hands, doing the hand motions, doing the dances. The girl next to me explained to me the meaning behind all the songs, which I appreciated. She could sense our dad energy, but it was just like that. It was a very kind crowd.
Once it got going, I thought that the crowd was good,
Mm-hmm.
but I experienced some side crowds, basically where the crush was happening on the outside, because the crowd got so wide that it was pushing all the way up against to like the bars.
Oh yeah.
And there was no way to like exit because so many people were trying to push through.
Yeah.
So like the way I was describing it is just like it's like a toothpaste tube where you just had to get in the tube and then start shuffling your feet.
Yeah.
And kind of forcing your way inch by inch by inch to get through. And
don't let my wife listen to this, who wants to go to her on Sunday. She's not going to like this.
It's fine. It's fine. Just get there, go to the stage 30 minutes early. Don't go to the sides, go straight down the middle. And like get to your spot and you'll be good.
Okay.
But it was insanity. When I finally about halfway through the show, I exited to the side, went through the toothpaste tube. It was harrowing, but then I went back around and kind of like went right down the center and was able to get to a relatively decent spot.
Okay.
And it was fine. But
well, we walked up to Sturgill Simpson with about 30 minutes before his performance, and we all started laughing at how sparse it was. Not because of like him, it ended up filling out greatly, but like there was no one there because there were a lot of good acts playing around that time before he did. And so when we went there, we were like, oh, so we can just walk up to like our ideal position and stand right here?
Yeah.
Like, this is great.
Well, that was kind of the problem with Dua and Chappell, is that they did a terrible job of like counter programming. So there was essentially nobody against Chappell Roan. It was some white rapper named Mike.
I saw that. Just Mike.
And for Dua, like we started at Pretty Lights, one of the smallest headliner crowns I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was laughable.
Yeah.
And like that was a cool show, but it's up against Dua Lipa, who basically doesn't tour in the U.S. Is one of the biggest pop stars ACL has ever brought. Like,
hit the spoke.
We tried to get we basically we could not get to a place where we could hear the sound for Dua.
Oh, I heard it was quiet.
I think there were some sound mistakes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Randy's affirming this.
Yeah.
top that all off with the hottest ACL weekend in a long time, and like it wasn't my favorite weekend.
I
It
sweat
wasn't
through.
my
I
favorite
sweat
ACL
through my
weekend.
hat for the first time outside, not on a golf course in a long time.
They gotta sell. It's just clearly so corporate. They're trying to maximize profits. They've taken all the shaded areas away and made them VIP areas. Like there's these new bungalows that
Yeah,
they're
but
trying to sell you
had
for
the $30,000
$30,000.
bungalow.
Yeah, I wish. So yeah, look, I love ACL. I had a great time as always, but I had more complaints than ever before. And that is partially because I'm getting old and cranky, and also partially because I generally believe it was oversold with 2 acts that they scheduled poorly against, and it was extremely hot.
See, that's why you got to do what I did. Show up at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Walk straight up to chapel. Walk over and just call it a day.
We have prided ourselves for the last 10 years, and for me, it's been 15 on like I'm a 3-day ACL guy. Like I go all 3 days. That is what I do. I think this might have been the last.
I can't do all 3 days. I choose one day.
Yeah, I may have to retire from that and go and I may be becoming a 1-day person.
Do you want to go to a wine bar on the day that you decide not to go?
Well, see, that's the thing. If I don't go all 3 days, then I open up my maybe my Friday or my Sunday for a little wine bar.
That's
action.
the beauty of ACL, honestly, is that so many people are going to ACL, and especially this weekend with everyone leaving for Texas OU.
Yeah.
If there's ever a time to go to a restaurant in Austin that you maybe have never been to, that you want to revisit, but it was hard to get a reservation, stuff like that, it's like the best time in Austin to go and do it. Even if restaurants close to ACL are still like easy to get into.
Mhm.
It's wild. But our absolute girl, Casey Lewis from the After School newsletter on Substack, she had her first piece written in the New York Times, and I had no clue it was her until I clicked the headline and was interested by it. And when I saw it was by her, I got excited.
More vibes.
More vibes are shifting. We're essentially talking wine bars. So when Barrett and I did our in-out episode, we really talked a long time about how expensive wine has gotten at restaurants.
Yeah.
You know, bottles that are mainly over 3 figures, you know, pours that are 18 to, I don't know. I mean, I went to
glasses of wine that are over $20.
I went to a steakhouse the other night with my parents, and I looked at how much a Nebbiolo costs, and it was outrageous. I was just like, what? Like, I'm not doing $30 for a glass of wine. Like, I'll just go home and like take a shot of vodka at this point. Like, that sounds so depressing.
Yeah.
Well, this is a column about wine bars, and I actually think that maybe we need to start going to wine bars, because I actually think it's a much more approachable way to drink wine in public than going to a restaurant that's just charging you like crazy. Because
Right.
And so essentially the gist of this article, I mean, the tagline is just that some Gen Zers and young millennials say the culture and aesthetics of wine meld with their lifestyles, whether they're drinking or not. And so it's almost kind of saying that these are like almost the new cafes.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of go to one, even if you're not even drinking wine, or if you're drinking a non-alcoholic wine, the vibe is still just better than a bar, because it's not a bar. And it's not a restaurant where you feel like the obligation to go and do these things that you do at restaurants, like order expensive food and whatever. Usually it's small bites and things like that. She talked to someone named Erin Hardy, a 32-year-old graphic designer in Austin, who described her favorite local bar, Lolo, which serves natural wines, as an easy meeting place where, quote, you're getting the finer things while also still being comfortable. Randy, how do you feel about Lolo?
I don't know how many of the fans out there are fans of South Park, but there's an episode about gentrification and Soto Sopa. That's what Lolo is to me. It's the most Soto Sopa thing ever. I'm not a big wine guy, but it's just too, it's like too intimate where it feels fake.
I've not been to Lolo simply because of where it is, but I want to go very badly because it does look like somewhere I'd like to go.
Yeah, it's I've just to carry on with Randy's point. The one of the times I went to Lolo, there was also a nice little vintage pop up in the back.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
You know,
See, yeah.
Take that, Randy.
I mean, I know this is more on me, that it's just not my vibe with stuff.
No, Randy just wants packed college bars and Sheins next to him.
They don't have any. They've got natural wines, but no natural mead at Lolo.
Okay.
That's big.
That's how they get Randy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Lolo's cool. The natural wine is all fun. There's an awesome wine bar. It's like not. The trendy is one of the last words that I would use to describe it. It's not that it's not trendy. It's just not Lolo. And it's over in Westlake. It's called Neighborhood Vintner.
Okay.
And one of my good friends lives very close to it. And that's like become like our spot. Like when we get a drink, like we just go get a bottle of wine at Neighborhood Vintner. And it's like, yeah, you're paying more, like much, much closer to just the regular like bottle price.
Yeah.
And there's you don't deal with the massive restaurant markup premium on a glass. It's nice. The dangerous thing for those of us that are experiencing wine bars while drinking, that's one piece that I don't totally get. I don't know how you're getting into wine bars and developing a taste for wine without drinking. But with no food served, it's very easy to get tipsy quickly.
Yeah, true.
So it's nice when there's like at least like a little at some of these like places if they've got like either like a small cafe menu or maybe like a little food truck outdoors or something.
Well, the only wine bar that I actually do frequent in Austin is Rosie's, which is behind, what's it called?
Howard's.
I always want to call it Gibson's for some reason. But Rosie's for me, the reason I go there a lot is because I'm like in love with the place, even though I do really like it, but it's just a good geographic location for where I live. And so whenever we're going out to dinner, we kind of pop in there for a quick glass of wine and, you get some little tiny small bites. They have like legitimately good food at prices that don't make your jaw drop, like all the other restaurants from the McGuire Mormon group here in Austin that have McGuire Mormon restaurants are very retail therapy coded. They look great on the inside, great food, interesting options at a lot of them. But one of the reasons I like it there is because I can try something absolutely wild by the glass because all they serve is wine rather than having to stick to, okay, which do I want, a Pinot, a Merlot, or a Cab, or do I want a glass of, Sauvignon Blanc or a Chardonnay? It's like, I don't want to do that. I kind of want something interesting that I've never had. I want to have something. The last time I went there, I ordered something just because it sounded fun, just purely by the words on the page. And the waitress looked at me and she just goes, that's this, right? And I said, yeah. Of course I know it's that. Like, of course I know it's a German wine, like that, whatever. But it's more fun for me. And because it's all wine driven, the prices by the glass are definitely cheaper than the nice restaurants that you go to that also have interesting wine.
Yeah.
Someone described it as a good third place, which is like the physical space. As the article says, a physical space that's neither where a person lives or works. She described wine bars as less formal than restaurants and a bit more festive than dives. And I think that's actually fair. I think the closest thing is not even comparing it to bars, though. I do think it's a cafe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe
feels very European, right?
Should we do wine bar reviews in Austin, Texas? It does feel very European.
There's a wine bar like literally within walking distance.
What's it called?
It's called Hopscotch. Remember? It's called Hopscotch, and Will and I had a discussion. That's a way better name for a whiskey and beer bar than it is
Hopscotch is
it's part of elementary.
It's part of elementary, which RIP.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a cool little spot too.
You want to talk a couple quick aesthetics? Oh no, hold on. Let's stay on the drinking train for a minute. Clarified cocktails per Dorsia. No, out. I called them in on my list. Dorsia came at my neck.
They promptly labeled them out.
Said from Negronis to daiquiris to espresso martinis, no cocktail in 2024 is safe from the wrath of the Spinzall, a countertop centrifuge that sounds like something out of the dark ages that separates solids from liquids in a quest for clarity. And as we know, that is a clarified cocktail. It says, Dave Arnold, the mad scientist behind the bar, blah, 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 blah. I don't need to read that part. It said, but here's the thing. Like silent discos or going keto, the thrill fades fast. When you strip a cocktail of its soul and you're left with the hollow replica, a knockoff. Beyond Burgers, Anna Delvey, Canal Street Birkins. What's the point of an espresso martini without that luscious foam crown, a Negroni without its deep crimson allure, or a Miami Vice without its unapologetically kitschy swirl of colors? We don't want to live in a world where centrifuges drain the fun from everything, no more than we want to sleep over at Kim Kardashian's sterile Hidden Hills home. Crystal Pepsi disappeared for a reason. Anything masquerading as too pristine has something to hide.
What? Okay, wait. Is somebody doing a clarified Miami Vice?
If anyone is, please direct me that direction because I would love to try this.
That's impossible. That's a frozen pina colada strawberry daiquiri swirl. Like you can't clarify that, can you?
If this is possible to even do, We are serving these at a retail therapy event near you.
Yeah, hopefully the wine bar has a blender then.
True.
Right? Because
Well, they obviously do for hyper decanting
that's
purposes.
true. That's true. Yeah.
This doesn't move me one way or the other. Honestly, I'm not going to dunk on this article, but I'm going to say, from my perspective, I just think it's fun to get something different. I'm tired of ordering a simple Negroni.
Have you ordered a clarified cocktail in Austin?
Yes.
Where?
Uchiba.
Okay. All right.
Uchiba had a clarified whiskey cocktail that I got and I loved it.
Okay. Yeah. I've not even had a chance to order a clarified cocktail yet. So please don't stop yet. Maybe in Manhattan they need to stop, but I've not even gotten a chance to try one, and I am keen to at least experiment a little bit.
I've got a buddy who does it at home.
Okay.
And so he just has it on. It's not like he's doing them all the time, but like he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I just did this the other day. Do you want to try it?" And it's like, "Yeah, I would love to do that." But I think it's the reason I like it isn't because of the taste or the anything. It's because it's a different way of drinking a cocktail that I want. Like I like the idea of a clarified Negroni because I am sick of ordering the same drink all the time, getting the same thing in front of me. It's purely a diversity play at this point for me.
Yeah.
Got two aesthetics, Barrett.
Yeah.
You want to start with the first one? I need you to play the audio from it.
Yeah. Let's
despite
do a
the voice.
little. Let's talk about a pygmy hippopotamus.
Yeah, let's do Moo Deng Girl.
This is Moo Deng Girl. She is moisturized, happy, in her lane, and ready to tussle. It is not easy being the runt of the friend group, but ordering off the kids' menu without question is an underrated budgeting tip for the girls. She is freshly out of a toxic relationship. He put his real doll in the front seat to use the high occupancy vehicle lane because she wasn't registering as a passenger. And she isn't sharpening her teeth or her ability to cry on command. She is a sales associate in the Nordstrom shoe department. She'll be the first to tell you that those cutout sandals are making your feet look like a pygmy hippo's. You can meet her at the E-bar in 15 minutes if you want to fight about it. You can follow for more.
Moo Deng Girl.
She's doing the Lisa Rosen TV voice, which is like that like vocal fry, like monotone with the weird little like hic
Moo
stops.
Deng Girl.
Yeah. I guess that's a thing. I guess it's a good way to get engagement.
Are you Barrett? Are you moisturized? Are you in your lane?
Well, this is my favorite part of the meme here is the Google search slugging gone wrong Reddit.
Obviously, Moo Deng Girl is not an actual thing, and this person is just like making a joke. But I think that it does kind of point out the absurdity of pretty much any label that we put on people, like Tomato Girl.
Yeah. I also would like to note this Tower 28 brand down here. That's Laura just ordered a bunch of stuff for it. We're bullish on this brand.
Okay.
We've been doing the hypochlorous acid like face spray. It's supposed to, I don't know. It's supposed to like kill all the germs or something.
I've fallen off on my journey, my skincare journey as of late. It's been laziness in the morning. It's been my son getting up a little earlier. And so I just haven't been taking care of myself on the skin front as much as I have in the past. And I need to skew more Moo Deng, unfortunately.
Yeah. You got to get back on that slugging grind.
I kind of just might be in my Strega Nona phase.
Yeah. Now that's a good, yeah. This one's a little more us.
House Beautiful on Instagram has said that the classic children's book is an inescapable TikTok sensation and it's coming for your home decor next. Strega Nona. I never had this book growing up and it bums me out because I feel like this could have been a part of my origin story in a way. Maybe I did have it and my parents just got rid of it before I started forming memories. Maybe they read it to me. Did you have a Strega Nona book?
For some reason, this looks very familiar and it rings a bell, but I don't know. It's a 1975 fable. And
Fables go crazy.
Fables do be going crazy. And it's being hailed online as the blueprint for a very specific strain of autumnal coziness. This is on Substacks. New York Times covered it.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. But like, don't you kind of feel like you recognize these little?
I'm in the same boat as you. It's like it looks familiar.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I also think that like my feed has so many nostalgic but almost Sunday Scaries coded things on it, like Strega Nona and like, Snoopy,
yeah.
Frog and Toad,
Right.
things like that.
Yes.
Like,
It's big Frog and Toad vibes.
yeah, big Frog and Toad vibes. If you need a show that you just want to put on in the background that's like pleasant to listen to, don't be afraid to go to Apple TV and just toss on Frog and Toad. I know it's a children's show, but there's something about it that is just very calming, and I love it. I might just be on my Frog and Toad fall. Do you want to do that for Halloween together, Barrett?
We could, yeah.
Do you have any? You're a big Halloween guy.
I love
have you I mean, you've obviously started thinking about your costumes this year.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I can't like I'm not going to ruin any surprises, so I can't really get into it too much.
I wouldn't want you to do it.
But dang, yeah, I probably should have had a little segment prepared for Halloween costumes this week, but it might be a little bit too late next week. But I'll still come with something. Next week's episode, I'll have a little something talking about maybe some Halloween costume options.
I'm gonna be relying on you hard. Hard. I think I actually have a note up. Let's see how bad these are, actually. I told myself last year that I was going to be better about my Halloween costumes, so I started a note, and all these suck. Like, I have 5 listed here, and there's no way I would do one of them.
Let's hear them.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do it.
Do it. Hit us.
One of them's Paddington. I just want to be Paddington because I
That's
know it'll make my
that's
son
a
happy.
costume.
I know. But all these other ones are like lame. Like, people would have done these. Like, no, I'm not reading them. I'll release it beyond the paywall for our paid subscribers that don't exist.
Give us one more. Give us one more on there.
Okay, you can have one more. This one I know I put on there because I think it's one that I could crush with a little dye in my beard.
Okay.
And it was just Life Aquatic.
Okay. All right. Steve
People do that all the time.
I don't see that one that much anymore.
Whatever. I did have just Succession characters where I just dress up as Tom and then Sally just gets a bob haircut and she's shit the entire time.
Yes.
But it would be funny to be Connor and just walk around with a blender and just a glass of wine the entire time.
I want to pull this one this is from the New York Times article about Strega Nona here. Maybe Strega Nona is a good Halloween costume because Strega Nona, whose name means grandmother witch, is a healer who enchants the townspeople with her magically refilling pasta pot. I mean, come on.
Swag.
Yeah.
Swag.
When
People
she
always ask, like, if you could have a superpower, what would it be? Like, what if we just had a pasta pot that was just always running?
When she recruits the help of a young man named Big Anthony, he bungles the spell that is supposed to halt pasta making. The town overflows with noodles. I mean, it sounds like he did a good thing to me.
Yeah.
Big AJ? Strega Nona, that's a boom.
So yeah, people are big on Strega Nona this fall, and why shouldn't they be?
I don't understand why they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Want to do a couple articles of interest?
Yes.
You know I'm a slut for a footy collab. Burberry, they're getting a lot of pub for this, Barrett. Did this come across your feed?
It did not.
There's a new player. He really took off last season. He's been incredible this season. Just won the Premier League Player of the Month for last month. Cole Palmer. He plays for Chelsea. I don't normally IQ shame people, but I think his is on the lower end. There's a lot of interviews out there and a lot of videos that come out that are just interviews with him where people ask him a question and he just looks at the camera and goes, "What?" Like, what are you talking about? But Burberry did a release with a bunch of different footballers, and they did a 9-minute video, I think, of him just sitting in a chair fishing, and people were loving it. Like, it was just like, yeah, you guys crushed this. But where do you stand on Burberry overall?
So Burberry is an interesting brand to me because, this is going to kind of tie back into the very first article about the vibe shifting that we talked about. Burberry has like kind of famously been struggling to make themselves relevant for the last 12 to 15-ish years, basically. Like they've obviously got their very famous plaid and an iconic piece in the Burberry trench coat. And those two things never really go away. They both fall in. Trench coats are kind of trending right now, which is great for the brand. And both of those things very, very much fall into like a heritage, London-y, English countryside, preppy, old money aesthetic, right? So they kind of fit in. But when in the kind of streetwear-ish rise of high fashion, they were struggling. They grabbed Riccardo Tisci for a little bit, who had kind of revitalized Givenchy. They tried to like rebrand. They came up with new logos. They put their name on a bunch of stuff, and I don't think it ever really caught on. And and somebody's at Burberry right now. Maybe it was Claire Waite Keller. Anyway, they've just had like an interesting decade and a half because everybody knows like it's one of the most famous fashion houses, but I don't think anybody really cares about it. Right? Like, do you care about Burberry?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I almost feel like their classic Burberry print is so iconic that they can't get away from it.
Right. They can't.
I think it stunts them a little bit when it comes because everyone thinks of it when you say it. I don't know. They don't seem like risk takers to me.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm not a risk taker when it comes to fashion a lot of the time, so I can't really call that kettle black. But like, yeah, like I don't know what they could do to make people care.
Do you remember in like, I don't know, maybe 2005-ish range when like they could put that plaid on anything, like on the collar of a polo or like a trim on a dress shirt, and like that shit was so hot.
My girlfriend at the time was studying abroad, and she got me a tie from like the Burberry store.
Yeah.
That was just the print, and I wore it once, and then I was like, I can't do this. Like, this is so much.
That was the same era that we were like doing custom Air Force Ones, putting like the Burberry, that Burberry plaid on the swoosh, like all sorts of stuff. Like, it just we're so far from that. Like, I don't want that Burberry plaid.
Oh, is it chuggy?
It kind of, yeah, definitely. But this campaign looks interesting. I mean, the clothes look nice here. So
whoever's in charge of this is doing a good job because they've selected players who have a buzz about them and aren't just your classic players. Like these guys are very much in the conversation. They're popular. And they're both London guys. I mean, they both play. Cole Palmer plays for Chelsea and Eze plays for Crystal Palace. And so, they've got their London ties and they're doing a good job with it.
Yeah.
I would definitely, if they wanted to call me and put me as a part of this campaign, so I can hang out with them and then just go sit in a chair and fish for 9 minutes, like that'd be chill.
100p. Daniel Lee is the creative director at Burberry. We're talking fashion houses this week, obviously. He's the guy that basically brought Bottega Veneta to the forefront. Like he revitalized Bottega. So like he's got the cred, he's got the pedigree. But he's been there since 2022, and like they haven't really made any waves. Maybe this is the start.
What about carabiners? This isn't even an article of interest, but this is me acknowledging a blind spot.
The campaign also features Barry Cogan and Cara Delevingne.
Yes,
Olivia
Coleman. They got some hitters.
That's some hitters. Don't ring, no gong.
I know.
No gong.
Hey,
no gong.
Did you even see me move?
No baby girl gong, my friend.
Yeah, okay.
We've talked about this last week, and then Barrett has started sending me now other carabiner stuff. Do I need to start accessorizing harder?
No, okay. This is what's strange to me. I have watched a variety of dudes put a carabiner with their keys on it and clip it to their belt loop for as long as I can remember. I've never done it. It's not something that I don't know why you want your keys jangling around on the side of your
I don't
hip.
want to be a jangle boy.
It's very strange to me, but it's been done for a long time. But very recently, like this past week, I noticed I can't think of the influencer's name right now. He's the Canadian kind of redhead kid.
Yep, I got it. Or I don't have it, but
He posted a video of him like trying on some new.
He didn't call out the carabiner.
He did not.
He just tossed it on and moved past it.
Yes,
and talked about the other accessories.
Correct. So it's
just built in his system.
But it's something he does. He's obviously on this. And then I saw one of the fashion accounts, like not going to remember which one it was, but it was basically making fun of the very specific guy that we are or reference or talk about that is Nolita Dirtbag adjacent. And one of the pieces of the meme was like carabiner clip to the belt loop. So now it's become like, now I think it's kind of like a thing that guys are like doing intentionally again as part of their vibe. But it's not for me. I have never done it. I never will do it. I don't know why that's like.
What, you don't want your Volvo fob chilling outside of your Japanese denim?
Okay, so
Like, you can't have a key fob out there.
Here's something that you can know about me. I actually do have a carabiner on my house keys.
Okay. I think that's smart.
YouTubers are getting a nice little look-see. This one's from Porter. It's all scratched up now, but I got this in Japan.
Oh, it's scratched up though.
Because I was in Japan.
Mhm.
But I don't keep car keys and house keys on the same ring. They're separate for me.
I think this is actually smart.
I got my car key and then I got my house keys because I don't always need these.
I think that's smart.
Yeah.
I have 2 fobs on my keys plus keys, and it's just too much.
Like if I'm Ubering somewhere, Uber's famously out, but sometimes we still need them. Then this is all I need.
Okay.
And like if I know I'm just going in and out of the garage, like then this is all I need. So that's a little something about me.
That's. I think can we do a new segment called "A Little Something About Me"? I don't have any thoughts on Engineer Garments J. Crew because I don't think it's out yet.
But
I am happy that J. Crew's doing stuff with. Have they always done stuff with Engineer Garments?
No.
I was going to say this is new. Like J. Crew is making moves.
I think it's out.
It is out. Okay, it wasn't out at the time of me putting this together.
Yeah, it's chill.
I might need to do a little shopping today. I haven't done that much shopping.
So one of the things that the Sam Hines article continues to be relevant for all these topics. He mentions one of the things he kind of calls out as passe, right? Is another collaboration, right? Like groundbreaking. There's another collaboration I came across this week that I had no idea was coming. Is Cult Gaia for Gap. Cult Gaia, very popular women's accessory, swim and ready to wear line. Did a collaboration with Gap, and like I don't know, like I'm getting I find the kind of expensive brand collaborating with a lower price brand. I'm less interested in that than I have ever been. I would rather try to get real pieces secondhand,
okay,
or on sale.
Yeah.
Then because that's the goal to me. It's
but
not
this
like
transitions somebody from being a shopper to a retail therapy coded listener. We need this to happen.
That's true. That's a fair point. That's a good point.
I don't shop. I buy.
True. Yeah. Jet of Jet and Pookie does not shop. He buys.
He buys. That's a good point. And that was definitely me. Like when GQ was doing all those like collaborations with like their best new menswear designers and Gap, like I bought several of those things, and it introduced me to brands like it might have introduced me to Todd Snyder at one point. And I'm now a defunct surf label called Imni did some cool stuff. John Elliott, who I was well aware of when they collaborated. But yes, the exposure and the awareness and the kind of like getting your foot in the door and kind of like showcasing some interesting things to guys that might not be like fully in the know. That's definitely a positive for sure. But for me, it's like this when a expensive brand collaborates with a kind of with a mall brand at this point, what it feels like to me is like it's trying to make the product a little bit more accessible, but at what cost, right? Probably lower quality, probably not as interesting of a fit, and so I'm less interested in it at this point. I think this stuff looks cool. I think there's some nice looking pieces here. I think
kind of like the corduroy pants right at the top.
Corduroy pants, and I like that. Like this parka is quite nice.
Yeah,
but like this. But look, we're not. I mean, it's a $700 parka.
Yeah,
so it's not like it's not like it's affordable.
Don't buy parkas for $700 from J. Crew. I'm just begging you, don't do that.
So that's and I kind of had the same reaction to some of the Cult Gaia stuff for Gap. It's like one of the jackets is $500. So it's like, okay, well now you're just taking me into
just go get the real stuff.
Yeah, kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I don't think this looks bad. I just have kind of a waning interest in this type of stuff.
Do we have a new baby girl on the horizon?
We might. This was a last second ad on here, but we are on Baby Girl watch. Are you watching the new rom-com television show on Netflix? Nobody Wants This.
I will be.
Okay.
I appreciate everyone that's reached out saying, Will, you would love this.
You would.
And so I haven't done it yet. It's going to be something I dive into this weekend, but I simply have not had time over the last week. And so I plan on doing it this weekend.
I've only watched 3 episodes, but It is a very good rom-com.
Okay, I'm
It's
excited.
very good.
I'm excited.
It's
Is it a show or a movie?
It's a show.
Okay.
10 episodes. And Adam Brody is crushing, and he is being lauded across the web and social media for it. And I think he may be reaching 100% approval rating, and this renaissance that he's having. He's a beautiful man. He's not too rugged looking. And Betches is saying that
he's with Leighton Meester.
He's with Leighton Meester. Betches is saying that he's baby girl.
I'm going to do my own research.
Do your own research.
And I'm going to report back next week regarding his status because I'm very interested by this and I'm okay with it. He passes the eye test.
I think so.
He passes the eye test.
You know, and we've been talking about the need for maybe a little bit more representation in a slightly older age range for baby girl, and he would fulfill that.
40, ripe 44. I hope I look like that when I'm 44.
Yeah,
he's looking good.
He's looking great.
I've officially added him to the watch list.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you. Who else is on the watch list?
Just Will Poulter right now.
He needs to get a badass role in something before he even begins to start going there.
Yes, I think just leave him on there.
We also had Andrew Scott on the watch list. Or did
you
we promote
him?
him?
No, he's anointed. Yeah, he's good. He's good.
And
I do think like we've got Gladiator 2 imminent. MTV's The Challenge is doing challenges that are sponsored by Gladiator 2, which means that it's just about to happen. And yeah, we got Mezcal. It's just a whole baby girl cast.
What's the guy that was in that photo with him and Pedro Pascal?
People are asking baby girl him, but I'm not familiar enough.
Joseph Quinn.
Okay.
He's probably close to being put on the watch list.
Okay. I'm going to say his name just so I remember it. So next time I see it, Joseph Quinn.
The fact that we had to think about his name for a second, I think
concerning
is right. That is the biggest thing is that I'm not quite sure he's householdy enough.
Saying he's going to take the role of George Harrison in the Beatles biopic.
Okay.
If they make a Beatles movie that's really good, that could just really anoint some baby girls.
It could.
I am so scared to see Timothée Chalamet as Bob Dylan. I cannot believe they did this to Bob Dylan while he's still alive. I love Timothée Chalamet, but I don't think he should be playing one of the greatest songwriters of a generation.
Did you see him running around on he's filming some other movie right now where he's like wearing these like dweeby little glasses and it's like a period piece.
Yeah.
And they needed to do a running scene and he's wearing so to have him run, he's wearing all black Solomons.
Okay.
So that he can run and not be in 1950s derbies or whatever. But it's a funny photo because he's wearing like all this like very like vintage looking blousey trouser stuff.
Yeah.
And he's got black Solomons on.
Yeah, I think I saw it getting memed somewhere.
Yeah.
Wish list items.
I'm gonna let you start. I got to pull mine up.
I'll start. I already bought mine. It was an imminent cop, and I just thought I'd put it on here because it's cool. But I've decided in life that if I find a coffee table book that is relevant to my interests and things that I'm currently doing, I'm just going to simply try to buy it if it's not outrageously priced. But this one, even if it was outrageously priced, and who knows what your threshold for that is. But it's Dead & Company, Rainbow Full of Sound, 2015 to 23, the touring years. And it's just a ton of photographs from the time that they were touring. And so it's done by Jay Blakesberg, who's a longtime Grateful Dead photographer. And yeah, now that my son is getting to the age where he doesn't absolutely ruin everything on the coffee table, I think I'm going to start using coffee table books around the house more again for the first time in 3 years. And it's time to get some new ones in the mix. I'm bored of my old ones. It's never good when you get bored of your coffee table books, Barrett.
A true deadhead, Will.
I know. I know. I also am trying to put stuff on here on my wish list that is not clothing.
Sure.
I want to be a little more diverse in my selections and do that.
Okay. All right.
I did do the combo bundle with the zine because I should have put zines are back in.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I am not going off of clothing this week. But I will go. I went real high end and kind of crazy expensive last week. So I'm bringing our friends at Abercrombie back into the fold. We talked last week about how barrel jeans are kind of one of the hottest silhouettes for women. Well, Abercrombie has a barrel jean for men, and I think I have to try these for research.
I think you do too,
right? I also I want a pair of jeans in this kind of like taupey khaki color.
I don't remember buying some, But I went in my closet the other day to get some pants out.
Yeah.
And I pulled those out on accident. And I was like, oh, I forgot I bought these.
Yeah.
And I love them.
And so I'm not there's a pair at Uniqlo that's really good too, but that's more of just like a classic, like kind of straight wide fit. But I think I need to try. I need to see how Abercrombie is trying to carry off these barrel jeans for dudes. Barrel jeans.
I can't fathom
jeans.
like I just can't even fathom what they'd feel like.
Yeah. You know, I just want that big bell shape, baby.
I think you need to try it.
Yeah. So that's I've honestly been meaning. This is an imminent cop. They've been sitting in my cart for a while. It's just like the oppressive heat has like really like stopped me from pulling trig on much.
We've officially made it through, I think, all the fall winter drops from Amélie d'Or, and I've successfully purchased exactly 0 things.
Wow. Okay. All right.
The one thing I wanted was from today's drop. That was the Gore-Tex vest down. In a different world, if I lived in Michigan, I'd probably get it.
You would have had it. It would have been done copped. Yeah.
But it was just a little too pricey for little old Will down here in Texas, where I don't think I'll be able to wear it for a few months now. And
correct.
You know, I don't think the black is going to totally sell out, and so maybe it'll be there later. But we'll see.
Is the black? You're going black over?
I'm going black.
Right?
Yeah,
Right.
I had a red vest in a very similar color to that, and I never wore it. I just didn't have much to wear it with, and I wear so many earth tones and stuff that like buying something like that for outdoors, I'd rather just have something black.
Now, have you confirmed that it's black and not navy blue?
That's not funny. This is a constant argument. My wife Sally bought me a vest from Amélie d'Or that I thought was black. I could have sworn on my life that it said black on the website. And to this day, it still looks black to me. And she is positive it's navy. We went back in her email. Sure enough, the confirmation email says navy. I don't know why, but I am just refusing to admit that I'm colorblind in any way, shape, or form. I'm checking now. Yeah, it's jet black. Jet black. I still might just buy this at some point. If like I don't know. I really wish Christmas was like right around the corner so I could just pawn this off and be like, this is the only thing I want for Christmas.
I mean, it is kind of right around the corner.
I mean, it's not.
It's not.
If you're not thinking about your Black Friday stuff.
Yeah, I don't think Amélie d'Or was a part of Amazon Prime Day, unfortunately.
That's too bad. Yeah.
It's lame. Probably in a few years. We'll see. Is that all she wrote today?
That's it.
All right. Had fun.